Chairman Jenkins,
Here.
Burley Tisdale, Director Pitts, Director Brockington,
Present.
Director Leonard,
Present.
Director Sharrow,
Present.
Director Claxton, Director Davis,
Present.
and Director Gathers.
Present.
Thank you. We have a quorum because everyone here except only two people did not answer the roll call. So I've completed the roll call. We will now have a moment of silence, please. Amen. All right, the next is a reading of the mission statement. The mission of the Orangeburg High School for Health Profession is to improve student achievement by using rigorous academic instruction, supplemented by innovative teaching and interactive learning and professional mentoring to give students a competitive edge throughout their high school, college, and professional careers. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Do anyone have anything that need to be written? Hearing none, may I have a motion, please?
Move for approval of the agenda.
Jenkins, move for approval.
Second.
Brockington, second. Thank you. We now move for the move of have been all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, aye. All any negatives? Hearing none, the agenda is approved as written. All right, the June 27th regular board meeting minutes were distributed. Hopefully everybody read it. If did, were there any additions, corrections, deletions, omissions?
Move for approval of the minutes from June 27th.
Been approved by Director Jenkins.
Second.
Second by Director Brockington. All in favor of the motion of the agenda of the minutes being approved, let it be known by a sign aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any negatives? Hearing none. Hearing none, the board minutes are approved as written. Do we have any public comments? No public comments? All right. We'll move to the next item on the agenda, and that is the fiscal report by Prestige School Solutions.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to share my screen. Everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes,
we start with the dashboard. As you can see, everything's in the green except for the undocumented transactions, which actually is green at this point in time. It was not green when the report was filed. You have 87 days cash on hand. Your salaries and benefits are 61%, budgeted at 58%. The net income on the dashboard is at $360,000 net profit for the year. That has since increased due to follow-up requisitions being put in for federal funds to a net profit of $471,000 for the year, which you don't see here and you won't see on these reports, but it'll be about $470,000 when you get the audited statements later in the year. Anyone have any questions regarding the dashboard?
I do not.
Okay. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention. Yeah, you have about $1.5 million in the bank, so that's a big thing. Balance sheet. Again, you have $1.5 million in the bank. You have another $150,000 in cash due from all of those requisitions we put in. About 20,000 in prepaid expense for a total asset of 1.6 million. Your current liabilities are around 432,000, which includes 358,000 in deferred revenue. Of that 358,000 in deferred revenue, 305,000 of it is a grant for security cameras and the like. So that will get spent before the fall is over. Okay. You have payroll liabilities about 315,000. As I said, the net income is about 360,000, and liabilities and fund balance equals 1.6 million. Anyone have any questions regarding the balance sheet?
I have none.
Hearing none, we'll move forward.
Sure. On to the income statement. Okay, the income statement. This is the final one of the year, except for the audited copy, of course. And your total revenue from local sources, you collected more than you budgeted for, 214 to 174,000. Restricted state funding, you collected more, 171,000 than we budgeted, 105. State aid to classrooms, you were spot on, just a little over $5 million. Total revenue from state sources was at 5.4 million, which is spot on to 5.4 million, which is what we budgeted for. On the federal side, we were a little light on Title I at this point in time. That has now since caught up with all the requisitions we put in July. Same thing with the ESSER funds. ESSER funds are topping out, so you should have no issue with any of the ESSER funds coming in. That's most of the requisitions that we put in were for ESSER and Title I. Okay, so your total revenue for the year was 6.3 million at that point in time. It's now risen to about 6.5 million, which is just about spot on to what we budgeted, 6.4 million. Anybody have any questions on the revenue side?
I have none.
Hearing none, move forward.
Okay. On the expense side, everything's looking pretty good. You know, your total high school programs, you spent 2.9 out of a budgeted 2.8. Vocational programs, this was basically unbudgeted ESSER funds. So even though you're way over budget, it was planned for in the grant. Learning disabilities, you're pretty much spot on, 12,000 out of 12,000. After school care, you spent 49,000 out of budget at 33,000, a little over budget there. Parent engagement was we did not budget for it. It's part of the Title I grant. Guidance services, you overspent just a little bit on guidance services, mostly in salaries. Health services, you're spot on, 79 out of 79. Same with psychological services, 5,000 out of 5,000. Career specialists, spot on, 54,000 out of 54,000. Supervisor special programs. This was in a grant, so it's been moved out of other categories into this. We had not budgeted for special programs. That's basically your Title I coordinator. Is what that is. Staff training, 45,000. We spent more than we budgeted for there. Board expenses, we underspent on board expenses, 109,000 up to 162,000. School administration, underspent there, 709,000 out of 760,000. Fiscal services, spot on, 166 out of 163. Operation of maintenance and plant, underspent, 312,000 out of 343,000. Student transportation, underspent, 143 out of 181. Food service, underspent, 154 out of 172. Security, pretty much spot on, 89 out of 85. Information services, underspent. That's advertising, basically, 5,300 out of 12,000 budgeted. Technology, we were almost dead on, 224 out of 226. We underspent pupil service activities, 98 out of 146. and debt service was a little bit higher than we budgeted for. So total expenses were just under $6 million. We had budgeted 5.8, so we went a little over budget, but we went way over budget on the net income. So your total budget is 300, at that point in time, again, was 360,000, which has risen to about 400. Anyone have any questions on the P&L?
I have none.
Hearing none, move forward, please.
Well, that's the financial report.
Thank you for your report. Will we go put it in the record? And there were no questions. So thank you for your report, and we'll move to the next area.
Okay, everyone have a nice evening.
Thank you
See you
too,
next
Mr.
month. Take care.
Lewinsky. You have one too. The next item on the agenda is Executive Director's Report.
Thank you, Dr. Tisdale, Mr. Jenkins, board members, and everyone else in virtual land. Thank you for being able to adapt, adjust, and overcome. We had the conflict of schedules tonight. My team scheduled the freshman orientation meeting tonight, so we have about 150 ninth graders along with their parents over here at OC Tech. So that's why you see me sitting in the car doing the meeting. We're gonna bring up Tori now, and Tori, you can go ahead, Mr. Rush.
Yep. Okay. Good evening, everyone, to chairman and fellow board members. Very quickly, what you have, I think, in your packet is the reimbursement resolution. If you remember, and we also have two representatives from Truist on as well. I think we have Justin and Lauren are on the line in case you have some questions. But we have the reimbursement resolution before you, which basically, and they can correct me if I'm wrong or add to this, but it basically captures for us, being that we're going out now paying for design costs, it allows for the bond to reimburse us for some of the costs that we're doing upfront during this process, or any costs during the process for phase 2. So in essence, that's what it is. Justin, would you like to chime in if I'm missing something on that? Or Lauren?
Sure. No, happy to do so. Hope everyone can hear me. Good evening, everyone. You said it exactly right. To get, again, assuming a tax-exempt financing, which gives the lowest cost of borrowing in the tax-exempt world, there's plenty of regulations, and this just allows you to capture those costs, as Tori had mentioned, and therefore we want to start that clock and allow you all to recapture and reimburse yourself at a future date with tax-exempt proceeds. So.
Yep. And this is, I think it goes back 60 days, so it will capture the fact that you voted to move forward on the next step in design work as well.
All right. Questions?
Is this an action item, Mr. Paul?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I need to, at this time, if there's no question, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the reimbursement that were used or incurred during the expenses during the early phases of phase 2.
Second.
Who was it in second? Was that Mr.? That was Director Brockington?
Yes.
Okay, it has been properly moved and seconded that we approve the declaration of official intent to reimburse expenditures. All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposes?
Aye.
Okay, which one is this one? Okay, we had one opposed.
No. It
And,
wasn't opposed. It was an I. I was just late with the I.
oh, sorry. All right. Hearing none, it is unanimously approved.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Rush. Mr. Farr, we will return to you.
Yes, ma'am. Board members, we do not have too much going on in the month of July. We have registration took place this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Also, board members, I would like to invite you all to our back to school celebration meeting with our teachers on Monday for breakfast, 8:30 to 9:30. If you all are not doing anything, I would love for you all to come by and meet the faculty and staff just to say hello, give them some encouraging words, or if you're available next Friday to come in for our luau for lunch, just to say hello to the faculty and staff and wish them the best for the school year. Currently, we are up to about 500 students for this upcoming school year. You know, we projected 480. We budgeted for 480. We already at about 500, and looking to close out the year at about start the year with about 510 to 520 students. We still got a good problem and a bad problem. I say it's a good problem that we still have about 80 to 100 kids still on the waiting list for 9th and 12th graders. The bad problem is we cannot take them all because we do not have the facility and the space to house them. So it's a good and bad problem. If you know me, it's hard to say no to students and parents to provide them a quality education. My team just want to reiterate to you all, thank you for all your support for this past fiscal year, and we look forward to moving to higher levels for this upcoming school year. So that's it for the principal update. And like I stated to you all, thank you all for having this virtual meeting. I figured I would save y'all time from driving to come to the school, and we have our 9th grade orientation going on, and I know we have a packed house in the auditorium.
But thank you so much. Anybody have any questions from Director Farr?
Yes, ma'am. This Mr. Gathers. Mr. Farr, what time was the breakfast you said on Monday?
Should start about 8:30, between 8:30 and 9.
And the lunch is what time Friday?
Started at 11:30.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Any other questions?
I have done.
Hearing none, thank you for your report, Mr. Farr. All right. Now that the next item on the agenda, do we have any announcements?
We have no.
I just made 2 announcements. Any other from any of the board members? Mr. Jenkins, you had one?
I have done.
Okay. Well, hearing none, may I call for an adjournment?
So move.
Mr. Jenkins?
Second.
All right, it's been second moved by Director Gathers. All in favor of adjourning the meeting, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
The meeting is now ended at exactly 6:24. Thank you so much.